Good morning, everyone. Let's gather into the main hall. Welcome to our Remembrance Service. My name is Annette Tashiro, and I'll be your MC today. We will begin with the ringing of the temple bell, or kansho, that signifies the beginning of a temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is the calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. Please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English, and it's found in the red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 7. Please be seated. Reverend Brennan will be chanting the Sanbutsuge, and you can follow along on page 9 and do the response. Page 9 in the service book.
With our hearts and minds bent in deep gratitude, we express our joy and simple thankfulness to Shinran Shonin, our innumerable Nembutsu teachers, and to all beings with which we are connected. May we all truly reflect with gratitude and humility on that which we have been allowed to receive through the teachings of the Buddha. May we always endeavor to listen intently with our fellow beings to the summoning voice, and together, as one family, be born in Amida's pure land. With a radiant, boundless mind, may we each regard all living beings with loving kindness without limit. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
We will now have the remembrance of those individuals and pets who've passed away this month in any year. Reverend Brennan will hit the gong or Dai King several times to start. Then the names of the deceased or names or names of the deceased will be announced, please go forward to offer incense. Then Reverend Brennan will hit the gong again for the next name or names. After the last name is called and the incense offered, she will hit the gong several times. Then we will go directly into the Sutra, Sanbutsuge, in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 47. Taro Sumikawa, Sumie Asada, and Tadayuki Nishita. George Morimitsu Ueda. Sawayo Hiramoto.
苦果外体無明欲入世尊用無二の死死人徳無量苦北広大知恵寿命光明一層神道大仙ガガサ文在小華道生じ未不下段不世上位人如世三昧知恵以上五世特分不行志願一切空大安決し不分百千の九万四大小衆東小分不如愚道賢小不客女語者小分世界不不可け無修仙道妙思小変思小国如世小人一人難量量が差分国土大地五種奇妙道場小説国女内容無闘争がと愛民道断一切実法来生新年少女糸が気楽安穏公文神妙是が心象本願の非力小小欲実法世尊知恵無下上良子孫知が信行軽量心死食毒中が行精進人熟け
Please rise for the recitation of the Creed in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 4. The Creed, Yo-Gen-Mong. Namo Amida Butsu. Entrust yourself to me. I will liberate you just as you are. This is the calling voice of Amida. My blind passions are embraced in the Buddha's awakening. So the Buddha calls to me. I will liberate you just as you are. Gratefully responding to the Buddha's call, I find that I am already on the path that leads to the Pure Land, and the Nembutsu flows freely from my thankful heart. It is due to the guidance of Shinran Shonin and successive spiritual leaders who have transmitted the teachings to us today. Living with the Dharma as my guide softens my rigid heart and mind. Gratitude for the gift of life I have received frees me from becoming lost in greed and anger, and allows me to share a warm smile and gentle words. Share in the joy and sadness of others. I shall strive to live each day to its fullest. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please continue to stand for the Gatha, golden chain, in the WBT Supplemental Purple Service book on page 55. Thank you. Please be seated. Our speaker for today is our Reverend Barbara Brennan. We'll welcome her to the podium.
Please join me in kansho. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo. Well, good morning, everyone. Earlier this year, I started talking about the different items on our altar. So today I'm going to continue with discussing our 7 patriarchs of Jodo Shinshu. Do we know who they are? You know, I mean, every time I try to look it up, I learn more and more. You know, even though I studied it, I go, oh yes, this is who this is, and they lived so long ago. Shinran Shonin singled out 7 masters of Pure Land Buddhism, beginning with the writings of Bodhisattva Nagarjuna and continuing to his own mentor, Master Honen. Shinran's name comes from 2 of the patriarchs. The second patriarch, Bodhisattva Vasubandhu, his Japanese name is Se-Shin, the Shin part, and then third patriarch, Master Tanran, his Japanese name is Donran, so the Ran from that. So that's how he took Shinran as his own name. And for Shinran, the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha and the 7 patriarchs are the manifestation of Amida's compassionate vow. Why did he choose these 7 patriarchs? It is it is traditionally attributed to 3 points. Each of the 7 patriarchs was himself an aspirant. They wanted to go to the Pure Land. And each left writings on the Nembutsu teaching. And the third, each of their interpretations is distinguished and essential in the history of the deliverance of the Nembutsu. So the pictures are going to be quite different actually, because it was hard to find good. This was the best one because it's in color. So this is Nagarjuna. In Japanese, his name was Ryuju, and he was from the 2nd and 3rd century AD. Nagarjuna promoted the easy path. That's what we follow, the easy path. And he's also the one who created the Junirai. We didn't, sometimes we chant Junirai, and he's the one. And in our Shoshinge, which we don't get to chant very often, all these patriarchs are mentioned in the different verses, beginning from verse number 14 in the Shoshinge. And he's in number 14 itself of Shoshinge. Our next patriarch is Vasubandhu, also of India, from India. And in Japanese, his name is Se-Shin. He was from the 4th century of the Common Era. Vasubandhu is talked about in verse 16 of the Shoshinge. And he had a formulation for birth in the Pure Land, which we all strive for. So 5 aspects. He said worship of Amida, praise of Amida, and wanting to be born in the Pure Land. And fourth, contemplating the Pure Land. And fifth, transferring merit. That means to transfer your good merit to someone else who may need it. So he created that. The next patriarch is Tan Luan, Don Dan in Japanese. He was from the era of 476 to 542. You know, to me, I mean, obviously it's so long ago, but it's really hard to comprehend how they were able to do so much in the study of Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings. He is in verse 19 of the Shoshinge. And his important contribution, first, the single-minded way he set about defining Pure Land practice. His absolute reliance on other power of Amida Buddha for birth in the Pure Land. And that's what we try to stress. We don't try to do it on our own, like the path of sages. They're the ones who want to meditate and strive to enter the Pure Land on their own. But you know, we don't do that because we're more practical in a way. You know, we have families. We don't want to be confined to going to a temple to just strictly recite the teachings. So we try to do our best in our everyday lives. Don Dan also turned his devotion into a mass movement, and he is credited for having developed the 6-character phrase Namo Amida Butsu from the Sanskrit to Chinese. So that's where we get our characters for Namo Amida Butsu. And he also wrote the San Amida Butsuge, which is the Sanbutsuge, which is in praise of Amida Buddha. I know this can be kind of overwhelming, but I just wanted to share with you, you know, how important we talk about appreciating our teachers. And these are the critical 7 masters which Shinran wanted to emphasize. The next one is Doshaku. He's in verse 22 of the Shoshinge. And it says that he practiced the Nembutsu as many as 70,000 times a day. That is like, you know, I can't even, it's just awesome. I'm just floored. That's a lot of time saying the Nembutsu. He lectured on the Contemplation Sutra 200 times and propagated the Pure Land teaching extensively. The pure faith, as given by Amida, is characterized by sincerity, single-mindedness, and continuity. Only the Nembutsu of the Pure Land path is effective in leading one to Buddhahood. The power with Amida Buddha alone and the power of his primal vow was all that was needed to bring the devotees to the Pure Land. And our next patriarch is Shandao Zendo in Japanese. He's in verse 24 of the Shoshinge. His influence was so great that thousands of people took refuge in Amida and practiced Buddhism. It is said that he copied the Amida Sutra, which we aren't as familiar with here, but he copied it more than 100,000 times and made more than 300 paintings of the Pure Land. And you know, some years back, good friends of ours, Barry and ours, he was a faculty member. His wife took a plain fan and she wrote the Amida Sutra on it. I was so amazed, but that's the dedication and that's how they learn to keep the sutras and the Nembutsu in their heart. Greatest contribution of Shandao was to develop Pure Land Buddhism, was clarification of soteriological meaning of Nembutsu. I looked that up and now I can't even remember what that means. Many of you will know what that means. Okay. Now Genshin is our 6th patriarch. He's known as Eshin Sozu. He's in verse 26. He's most famous for his collection on the essentials for attaining birth. This work laid the foundation for Japanese Pure Land teaching. Late in life, he founded a small retreat on Mount Hiei called Yokawa, where he taught sole reliance upon Amida Buddha through the Nembutsu of other power. And our 7th patriarch is, of course, Honen, also known as Genku. He's in verse number 28. He completely rejected the self-power practice and relied solely on the other power. In other words, the power of Amida Buddha's primal vow. And here we have Shinran Shonin, and we just celebrate, or are celebrating his 800th birthday, 850th celebration of Jodo Shinshu. He is the one who wrote Shoshinge and wanted to share his knowledge of the patriarchs who he determined to be the ones to teach us the most. And this is, oh, by the way, Shinan is on our altar, as is Renyo Shonin, who was known as the restorer of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. He was a descendant of Shinran Shonin, and he was also the 8th Monshu of Honganji in Kyoto. When he, in 1457, when he was 43, he became the Monshu and continued his missionary activity in the Omi area in Japan. In 1471, he built a temple, a new center for his activities. Renyo is known for his many letters to share the teachings. And in our service book, you'll see the Gobunsho, which was written by Renyo, and he also wrote a lot of others. And it had a little note that once he had written a letter to his followers, and I guess he dropped it when he was walking along the road, and it happened to be picked up by a person who then turned it in. But they thought, well, if that person did not come along, we wouldn't have had that one, and I'm not really sure which letter it would have been. In 1475, he moved the center of his activities to the Osaka-Kyoto area, and he built the Founders Hall and also the Amida Hall. In 1489, he retired as the Monshu, leaving his position to his 5th son, Jitsuno. And with undiminished missionary spirit, in 1496, he built a temple in Ishiyama, Osaka, the site of where Osaka Castle is now. So he spent the rest of his life there. In 1498, he returned to Yamashina when he got sick, and he passed away to the Pure Land at the age of 85. This last photo, does anybody know what it says in Kyoto? Actually, it looks big, but it's probably no more than, I don't know, have any of you visited this Eikondo? I had heard about it. The statue itself, we walked up, and it's inside, it's in an enclosure that we could see through, but the statue's only about this tall. It just surprised us because it looks so huge, you know. This is the principal image of Eikando, Zen Ninji in Kyoto. It's one of the important cultural assets of Japan. The style of the image shows a moderate way in late Heian period, but the decorative wave of clothes shows that this might be made by a sculptor in Kyoto in the early Kamakura period. The sculptor skillfully arranged the pose by catching up the moment from a static pose to a dynamic one. The pose of Mikaeri Amida can be interpreted as an attitude to wait for the people behind, to think back on his own position, to show mercy to neighbors, to watch the people with mercy, to pay attention to the people as a leader to step forward together. The pose also shows the benevolence of the Amida, who is still worrying about the people who cannot come to the front, though the Amida has already taken a lot of people in the front. And with that, that's my talk, okay? I know that's a lot. If you have a chance to read about things when they come up and, kind of peruse Shoshinge, I mean, it's really quite important. And I had studied way back to get Tokudo, and, we're so busy studying all the details that we don't really think about this gift that we're being given. So here it is, 9 years later, that I'm going, wow, this is great. So we never stop learning, okay? So I hope you got something out of it. Thank you. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much, Reverend Brennan, to remind us that we keep learning. Please rise for the Gatha at our altar in the Brown Praises of Buddha book on page 16. And continue to stand for the Nembutsu found in the red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 135. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Oh, sorry. Nembutsu.
most essential realities of life is to understand that everything is constantly changing. Nothing can last forever. Impermanence is not good or bad. It is reality. Whether we lose our human family or our dear pets who have given us so much and asked for so little in return, we must ever endure. However, understanding impermanence is the seed of wisdom. It is the seed to living with gratitude and taking nothing for granted. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, now you can be seated. May I call on our President, Dennis Tashiro, for announcements.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Barbara. That was a very interesting message. Annette, thank you as MC. Alan for being our greeter. Lisa, or Joy, rather, playing the piano. Cynthia for ringing the kansho, and of course, Ryan. Today's refreshment is being provided by Team A, led by Lisa. We don't have any new guests, however, someone we haven't seen in a long time. That's Jerry Ochikubo's mother, Mrs. Okada. Hello. All the way from Honomu. Friday night, we had a family movie night to watch Elemental, and we actually had a very good attendance. It was a good movie, had some good food, and of course, great company. Today is the last day for our food drive to support the Hawaii Food Bank. For those who have donated items, thank you very much for your generosity. Your donations will be delivered to the food bank this week. Coming this Saturday, there's an occasion. I'll ask Reverend Barbara to explain about it.
I'm sorry, this is happening a lot. I forget where I put things. So Dennis gave me this poster, which we'll put on the board. But this is the Dharma Chakra Festival, and it's sponsored by HABE, and that's the Hawaii Association of International Buddhists. And our former bishop, Eric Matsumoto, is the president. And there's going to be a special speaker who is with the Soka Gakkai Temple. And it is this Saturday, starting at 9, do you recall? Yeah, starting at 9. And it's always been a very refreshing kind of gathering. So if you have a chance to head into town, to the Soka Gakkai, what's the other word for Soka Gakkai? Sorry, I'm bad. They do have their own building, and years ago we had it there, and they had entertainment and fellowship. So if you have a chance, look on the bulletin board, okay, because it's my bad. I don't know what I did with that, so it's probably on the desk in the office. Oh, well. Okay. Sorry, Dennis.
Thank you. Also a reminder, there won't be any service next week Sunday, but rather there will be our carpool visit to Jikoen, Honganji. For those of you that might have had any change in their plans visiting, those of you signed up, please let me know of any changes. And of course, don't forget to bring your passport. just to let some of you know that I'm not familiar with it, this passport was made a couple years ago maybe. This is to encourage people to visit the various temples within the Honolulu district. We have the main temple, the headquarters on Pali. They have their headquarters, the Hawaii Betsuing Temple. Then there is Moilili, Honganji in Moilili, and the Jikoen, Honganji in Kalihi, and of course us. So there are 4 temples, okay? And there's actually another entry for the Buddhist Study Center up at the University of Hawaii. So if you get to visit each of the temples and offices, you get it stamped, and once your book is full, you get a prize. And I believe it's a metal straw. Yeah, so I got only Jikoen left, so I'll get a prize after next week. But I encourage you to visit some of the other temples. Like us, they're very friendly too. Okay, next, let's see. Sunday, November 26th will be our Eitaikyo service. It's a Sangha memorial service to remember former Windward Buddhist Temple leaders and Dharma followers who have passed away and had done so much to support our temple. Reverend Bert Sumikawa will be providing the Dharma message. On December 3rd, there will be a joint Bodhi Day service. That's the day basically to celebrate the Buddha's enlightenment. On December 3rd, it will be held at the Nichiren Mission of Hawaii, and it's sponsored by the Hawaii Buddhist Council, made up of 7 Buddhist denominations. The guest speaker will be Bishop Myoke Kane Barrett, the first American woman and the first person of African-Japanese descent to receive full ordination as a Nichiren Shu priest. You can find more information on the flyer. I'll have this posted on the bulletin board. On that day, December 3rd, we won't be having service here. So we encourage you, if you can, to please attend Nichiren Mission on, I guess this is maybe Liliha, 33 Pulelehua Way. Nuanu? Okay. Just over the hill. Let's see. And then the following Sunday, December 10th, we will be having our annual general membership meeting right after the service. Then after the meeting, we'll have a lunch. It'll be held at the new Mui Kwai Chop Suey restaurant. I've prepared a sign-up sheet. It's on the back table. So members, if you are interested, if you plan to attend, please sign up so we can make sure we have a lot of food for everybody. And if you have any questions, come see me. But please do sign up. I'll be sending out an email to all members, and you can either sign up electronically or sign up on that sheet. Cynthia, you want to announce, or shall I? And the moment we've been waiting for, the second Sunday of each month is? Bingo. Yes, we'll have bingo today. So hopefully those of you who didn't get to win previous times, let's win today. Okay. Magically appeared.
What?
Magically appeared.
You know, I have this in my folder, and I think because I saw this picture of Shakyamuni, I just connected it to my talk. And it wasn't. It's about the Dharma Chakra celebration. And apparently it's on Zoom because they don't have an address of where to go. So I really goofed up on that first announcement. So, and this speaker, David Rich, this is AKA Kavika. He is a motivational speaker, a leadership trainer, and speaker's coach and author. And there will be responses by intergenerational panelists, the Bhikkhu from the Theravada Buddhist, a Theravada Buddhist nun from India, Callista Hansen by the Sokogakkai International Organization, Chad Chihiro Okawa. Many of you have met him. He's a PBA graduate, and he's a member of Aya Honganji. Lila Edwards with the Kailua Shambhala Center and Tibetan Buddhism, and Min HTUN, practice Theravada Buddhism. And then the last one is Tao Le, affiliated with the Diamond Heart Foundation. So it should be really interesting. But since it's on Zoom, there is this link. So my mistake, they aren't going to have it, as far as I know, at their temple because there's no address. So anyway, do it on Zoom if you can. It doesn't start until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At 4 o'clock, and it goes with a closing at 6. So it's not too much of a commitment for your time. Thanks, Dennis. Sorry. You don't have to ask me to do it.
That's all right. Okay, any other announcements? Bob.
I received 2 new books by Buddhists and Lisa Fujikawa. One is a family story from the plantation by Piper Toyama. The other one is Blue Jean Buddha. It's various young Buddhist information about there. So it's in that back, so please look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, I think we're ready for refreshments. If you could turn to page 126 of your red service book for the words of thanksgiving. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you.